Alrighty, so today's topic is what do you need to consider when you are going for a glasses fitting or when you're getting frames for your face shape, or what do I need to do as a professional when I'm microblading or drawing on a potential brow for you when a client comes into me and she's wearing glasses all the time. So there's a lot of things that we need to consider. Believe me when I say that when I was purchasing my own glasses in the past, I made several mistakes. I was very much swayed by fashion. The person who was fitting my glasses for me didn't really understand facial morphology and what frames would suit certain faces. And I made a lot of very expensive mistakes. This being one, for example. This was fashionable and I wanted the frame, but my God, that was an expensive mistake. So let's tackle the face shape that you have and the frames of glasses that would suit you and your face shape. So any optician worth their salt know, and they've been trained in it anyway, the frames that would suit certain face shapes. You have to take into consideration the client's age. You have to take into consideration whether they want a thick or a thin frame. And you have to take into consideration where they are in their lives. If they're looking for colour, if they're looking for fashion, if they're looking for understated, and so on. So there's a lot for the opticians to actually take into consideration when they're dealing with their client, but I'm not an optician. So from a going for frames point of view and heading off to the opticians, a lot of people wonder if their frames should cover their eyebrows. So tip number one today is that your frame should flow with the shape of your eyebrows. So it's lovely to be able to see your eyebrows just slightly above your frames. So your glasses are never really meant to cover your eyebrows. So you want your eyebrows to be parallel to the top of the frame when it comes to the position of your eyebrows. Tip number two. Your frames are meant to be the opposite of the thickness of your eyebrows. So if you have a really thick eyebrow, you'd go for a thin frame, just like this one here. Tip number three. There needs to be a balance between the thickness of your eyebrows and the size of the frame. So if you have thick and defined eyebrows, thick frames can be too much. And the exact same thing happens if you have really thin eyebrows. A really thin frame can just make it a little bit too thin. So if you're going to wear thin frames, for example, making your eyebrows stand out can be as simple as thickening and defining them so that your frames don't hide them. So you'll thank yourself later if you have well-groomed brows because they can be an accessory on their own. Tip number four. So in conjunction with your optician, choose frames that coincide with your eyebrows. Make sure that the eyewear is the opposite thickness to your eyebrows. Make sure that the frames go with your face and that they will have studied and be able to help you on the 6 face shapes that there is. So they will have decided whether you were a round, oval, triangle, square, diamond. What's the last one? Heart. So ideally, if you are wearing eyewear, the frames of your glasses shouldn't ideally cover your eyebrows. They're too big. The only time we ask you to have glasses to cover your eyebrows is when you're leaving our clinic. We usually advise you to buy a cheap pair of big huge sunglasses so that you can hide behind the work that we've done, because it's quite dark on the day that it's been done, and if you're a shy and retiring type you might want a pair of those. And whatever eyewear that you choose, the shape that you choose, use makeup to define your eyebrows when you're wearing your glasses so that they can be seen. Whether you ideally choose to have a shape that suits your face shape, but then you can go thick or thin, and whether you're looking for a modern frame or whether you're looking for something that's more classical. So now, if you have facial asymmetry, this makes it very difficult for both the optician and for the likes of me, because you end up with a situation like this. We have a chicken and egg situation here. Do you see the brow artist first or do you go to the optician first? I would highly recommend that you actually go and get your frames first, and then when you arrive to me with your frames on, I'll work around that then. I would recommend that you come to us after you've chosen your frames in conjunction with your optician. And then I would recommend that you come for a consultation. Don't just book in. Come for a consultation so that I can draw on the perspective brow to complement your face. I do a facial morphology so that we can design the right brow and take into consideration your glasses and the glasses frames, the shape of those as well, so that they can all complement one another. Take me, for example. I actually have symmetrical face as it happens, and both eyebrows are both on the same axis. But I have made some very expensive mistakes over the years when it comes to my glasses frames. And also, I'm drawn by colour. So I absolutely adore colour. I love it. Colour makes me happy. So it depends on what I'm wearing on the day will determine what colour I'm using. I absolutely adored these frames. You could still see my eyebrows. That's colour. Turquoise for my turquoise days. Blue for the blue days. Pink for the pink days. I love these. And then my optician suggested that I change the shape. I could still get the colour to this style. And I actually felt this is a green and blue one. It's more modern. Your age plays a part in it as well. And I think it's very important that you consult with your optician, consult with us, and between us, we'll actually get you where you need to be. Alrighty, I hope that helps. So if you decide to come in with the cat eye frames, it'll give me an idea as to what your personality is for starters. But we will be able to work with your chosen eyewear and your face shape, because I'll do a full facial morphology, design on a perspective eyebrow, and then you can wear that for the day and you can book in at a later time then if you actually want to have that microbladed into that shape.